So hello and welcome back to the Big Lab podcast. This is episode 11 and I'm joined today with Poppy. How are you doing?
I'm all right, you?
I'm not too bad. Do you want to just give yourself a little introduction for the people at home and listening and watching?
So I'm currently a furloughed swimming teacher and I've just started an online coaching business through Instagram and I'm selling a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace to keep myself busy.
I guess you've got to do that sometimes, haven't you? Especially with all the time during lockdown.
Basically, a decorator, gardener, you name it. I've done it all this lockdown.
Hey, at least you've got a little business to keep you going if you're ever struggling. Just doing odds and sods everywhere.
Been fitting radiators and all sorts.
Bloody hell. Definitely wouldn't be trusting you doing that.
I'm quite good, you know. I've done it a few times now.
All right. Qualified plumber as well.
Basically. I've come out with new qualifications, though, so I've done all right, really.
Therefore, going to be some leaks down the line. But today's topic is probably one that a lot can relate to, especially from lockdown with binge eating. And we're going to potentially touch a little bit on eating disorders in general, because eating disorders aren't just overeating, they can be undereating as well. And I've noticed on your stories, you've been quite open about your binge eating recently.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite good, because a lot of people hide behind Instagram and make their lives seem a lot more sort of happy and successful than they potentially actually are. So I guess what we're going to start with is how your binge eating sort of comes about. What are the triggers for you to then go on a binge?
So it first started after my first proper cut. So I would started just to get in shape for my birthday, because I thought we were going to be going away for my 21st. And I ended up meeting someone and they were like, oh, you'd be really good if you competed and all this, that and the other. So I got it in my head that I was competing. And I think that kind of kick-started, because it was like, you have to do it. You've got to do it to get on stage and this, that and the other. And I put so much pressure on myself. And then when it came to my birthday, I was like, right, I'm having a cheat meal, I'm having a treat meal, whatever you want to call it. And because I knew that was coming up, I was constantly thinking about what I was going to eat and just overthinking it, like, oh, for my meal, do I have like lasagna? Do I have pizza? Do I have pie? Like, there's so many options. Like, what can I choose from? Like, and I just wanted everything. So like a couple of days before my birthday, I started then. And then since that, it was like I had this mad sugar rush, and three months down the line, I'm still doing it.
So you're talking last year this happened then? Last summer?
Yeah, no.
Or
I've always kind of binged, because I've always been on a diet.
right.
I don't really know when it properly started, but I just go crazy all of a sudden. And it felt like I didn't have any control. Like, so my bedroom's so close to the kitchen, I can kind of sneakily just go in and no one knows about it. We're secret eating and stuff. So yeah, I just go on a mad one, and it was like I couldn't control, and I'd actually laugh about it at first. Like, I'll go in and just stuffing my face and running back to my room and thinking, oh God, what have I just done? And then 2 minutes later, I'll be back there. It was like,
just for like a time scale on that. So when you said about your 21st, when was that?
21st was in November.
So November. So you were basically on a cut all last summer during lockdown to potentially go on stage.
Yeah. So I would have been going on stage. I'd have been 6 weeks out today.
Right. Okay. So you've been potentially prepping for like a long time.
Yeah.
And do you think that it's because you were prepping that those sort of cravings to binge came about, or do you reckon even if you weren't sort of cut in for a competition that it still would have happened?
I think I'd have still gone off track a couple of days before my birthday anyway.
Yeah.
But after that, I planned on doing a reverse diet. Well, I started my reverse diet, and that's when it all kind of went downhill, because it were like right, I've been on 1,500 calories and now I get an extra 100 calories. So what can I have with that 100 calories? And I'm constantly thinking about what nice bits of food I could then add into my meal plan. Like, so, or can I have like a mini bit of saurine, or can I have a
It's
squares
minging
bar?
that stuff.
You
Sorry.
don't like it?
No, when I was rowing, everyone was mad on sorry, and I just couldn't take to it. It was
What?
minging.
Which one were you trying?
I don't know. Uh,
The
I just,
banana was the
I
best.
don't know. They just used to offer it to us. Like, is it like a malt loaf or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's not the best one. You need to try
Oh,
the banana one.
honestly, when I was rowing, you'd be at like a competition, they'd just be handing slabs of it out, like literally like that thick, like 2 or 3 inches thick. And I'd have a bite and I was like, that is disgusting. Get it out of my face. And they were like, no, no, you need energy. And I was like, I'll get it from somewhere else. Thanks. I was like, that's disgusting.
Pause if you don't like it.
I'm not big on it. But so going back to it, what are your sort of go-to binge foods then?
Sorry. Sorry, Biscoff spread. There's something else. Can't think. Protein bars. Why
Yeah.
protein bars? I don't know. I think
This
it
is the
were,
thing. I think with protein bars, though, you think they're healthy because obviously it's a protein bar. But then you look at
yeah,
the calories in a protein bar, and it's like minimum, usually about 200 calories,
yeah.
like
So
minimum.
I think it were the stuff that I was looking forward to
Yeah.
adding into my diet when I started my reverse diet. Um, I'm trying now to have the foods in the house and try to eat them, just so I don't have that. You can't eat that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get over it that way, but it's
See,
not
I,
really.
I put a post up the other day actually kind of bashing cheat meals
Yeah.
because,
Oh,
um, yeah, for me, if you need to cheat on your diet, I think for me it says that you don't actually enjoy the diet you're on.
yeah.
If you need to have a cheat meal, because a cheat meal is obviously a food that you really enjoy. So for me, like more of a like I've never counted calories, but I usually eat pretty clean. I eat reasonable the same amount of food each day, and then obviously if I fancy something, I'll just have it. But um, for me, I think if you want to be sustainable with it, you've got to include these foods that you like within your sort of maybe not daily diet, but weekly diet at least, so you don't get those cravings. Because if you're constantly having it little bits, like obviously if you fancied pizza, a whole pizza could be like 1,000 to 2 calories depending on where you get it from. If you include maybe a quarter of pizza each week in your diet, you're never going to get that sort of craving to then have a massive binge on pizza.
Yeah. But when you're on 1,500
Yeah,
calories,
it's not a
you
lot to play with.
you don't just want something that big that's like
Yeah,
100 calories, because you're just like, that's a waste, because I could have something else and have a lot more volume to my meal.
yeah,
And that's what it was for me. I'd rather have more than
yeah.
something
Yeah,
really.
I get what you mean when you're on that minimal amount of calories to actually play with. Like when I
Like
think
when it,
about it, my breakfast alone is about 700 calories, and all that is shreddies with a protein shake on it. It's like I'm eating like half your daily calories for breakfast.
I don't know about you, but I can't just have a little bit of something. If I'm having something, I want the whole lot.
Yeah, like I could quite easily do, like a roll of Jaffa cakes.
Mm.
And like I think that's about 10 Jaffa cakes. It works out about 450 calories. And like you say, like if I open them, like the full 10 are going. But I
So how
think,
would you meals? Like they say, oh, you don't need to eat the whole meal, and it's just like, yeah,
it's the yeah, it's the like
I can't not eat the whole thing. I could be stuffed, like I could physically feel sick,
I hate
but
handing food back on a plate.
like time for me. And if the food wasn't taken away from me straight
Yeah,
away, I'd be picking at it all night.
yeah.
I'm just
But
that type of person.
I
If
think
it's
that stems back from childhood though as well, doesn't it? Like
mm,
when like your mum and dad would say when you're a kid, like you need to finish up your dinner to get a pudding. Like it probably still sticks with you, like
oh,
mentally.
yeah.
You
The
are.
one you see what I put on my story earlier, something like when your parents said eat all up and you'll be nice and strong or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, the big fat kid. Yeah, that made me laugh, that one. But it's true
Yeah,
though, like those sort of things stick with you from like when you're a kid.
yeah, you're probably right. I didn't really think of it like that.
And like I said, like if the food's there in front of you, I would feel rude handing a plate back with food on if I'm at a restaurant.
Yeah, same.
But as well, I
I,
think
it's like I compete with other people. Like
that used to be me. Like
I can eat more than you.
like we used to go to this buffet in Liverpool when we were kids, like when we were like 14, 15, like a group of us would go out in Liverpool for the day. And we'd usually go to this place called the Red Hot Buffet and end up getting shut down for like having rats or something in the kitchen. But
No one in
but like it was about 10 quid all you can eat or something. Like it wasn't a lot. And we'd literally have competitions of who could eat the most plates of food. And like I'd come out with her having like 7 full plates of food, like mountains of food, and like proper like baby belly.
I once went on a date with a guy. He's called Blue Secure in Leeds. He's so nice. And he was like, oh yeah, I can eat loads. And yeah, I can eat loads. And I was thinking,
Watch this.
kind of like challenging me. And I thought, you don't know you're putting yourself up against. Anyway, I out ate him. And then we went out for a drink after, and I out drunk him as well.
Safe to say there wasn't a second date then. No.
No, there was, to be fair, but
Fair point.
not much of a man, is it?
Wow.
God, I'm not listening.
But I think going like back to it, like you were saying, you only have sort of 1,500 calories to play with.
Yeah.
For me, obviously, I'm a lot bigger and heavier and whatever. I obviously burn more calories naturally without even moving. And I think that benefits me in a way because obviously I've got more leeway to sort of play with stuff. Whereas, like I said, I'm basically having half your calories for breakfast. And like that doesn't really fill me up as such. Like it gets me to lunchtime, but I'm not full because obviously it's just a bowl of shreddies.
Yeah.
So I think that obviously that must be a bit more difficult for you with having so little calories to actually play with.
At the moment, I'm on 1,800, but when I was on 1,500 as well, I was doing half an hour cardio a day and doing 5 training sessions a week. Really high intensity as well. Like I come out of them crying. And
I have seen some of your workout posts actually on your story recently.
Oh God, I know.
Absolutely like grunting, squats and all sorts.
When I'm at home, it's just like no one else is there. And it psychs you up a little bit more, doesn't it, when you like have a bit of a grunt and shout at yourself.
Just wait until you go back to the gym and everyone's looking at you.
No, I need to learn to shut up because when I go back to the gym, I'll probably get kicked out.
One of those gyms that has like no grunting on the wall, like painted.
Fair, my gym's like a proper bodybuilder's gym.
Probably used to it then.
Yeah, they are, but
just get further into the club there.
Yeah.
But going back to sort of binging that, how does it make you feel after you've had a binge?
Depending on how bad the binge was,
Yeah.
I used to feel guilty for it. And back when it got the worst, it was like, I can't trust myself to eat. So it was like, I'd have a binge and then I'd suddenly go, right, I'm not eating tomorrow because I've just eaten a full day's worth of food. And I wouldn't.
Wow.
That was when it was like the worst. And that was when I spoke up about it.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I can't keep carrying on like this. I think because I was very aware of what we're doing and that it was becoming a problem and I didn't want it to be a problem, I thought I need to speak up about it. Otherwise it will become a problem. And the longer you leave something like that, the worse it gets. And I'm so glad I've got people that I can speak to. So now if I have a binge, it's like, right, what's done's done. Just get on with it. Don't try eat less throughout the day. Just carry on like you've not binged, and then get straight back on it tomorrow. Try not binge again. So it's just trying not to binge and taking it like an hour at a time,
Yeah.
10 minutes at a time if I have to. But
So, uh, is it like like you don't sort of punish yourself for doing a binge anymore? You sort of just accept.
yeah, I'll just accept I've done it.
Yeah.
I'd either not eat for a full day, or I'd want to go out and do loads of cardio and do loads of extra bits and bobs just because I have binged.
Yeah.
But when they are bad, like you just literally feel sick. You can feel sick and you just want to keep eating. Like you could be physically full, like you're bloated as hell, and it hurts because you're that bloated, but you still want to carry on eating. And it's like now I think before a binge, because they're not as aggressive anymore. I think you know how you feel after you've had a binge. So why are you putting yourself through it? Why putting yourself in that situation again when you know you're gonna feel like crap afterwards and you're uncomfortable? So why are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Kind of my way of preventing a binge.
So, um, you said that it's mainly sort of like Biscoff spreads and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily like big volume foods. It's sort of really high calorie, sort of
Yeah,
um, small amounts of food. So like it's literally a spread. Like those spreads have a ridiculous amount of calories in for what you're gonna get out of it.
yeah.
So it's not like you're sat there eating like packets of crisps and pizzas and I think you said pies before, of course, being a northern girl. You had to get pies in. But so it is mainly like small volume foods then, isn't it? That you
It's
struggle with.
I stopped buying the stuff in because I knew that I just couldn't eat them.
Yeah.
So if if I just wanted something, I'd literally go to the kitchen and I'd find something. They were always sugary foods. Like I started eating loads of toast and I put loads of peanut butter on, loads of honey, whatever, literally whatever I could find.
Yeah.
I'd be making up some weird concoction and I'd literally just be stuffing my face. No matter what it was, I just wanted to eat more.
Yeah. So do you think lockdown has had an impact on that? Do you think it would have been as bad if we weren't in lockdown? Because obviously you're more likely to be out of the house and doing stuff and keeping busy to maybe
But
not binge.
for sure, I feel like now it's more of a habit than binging.
Yeah.
I think because I started binging and they were really aggressive, I think it's just as soon as I think about food now, it's like, oh, well, normally I'll just go and get some.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a habit now and it can be boredom eating. So it is harder in lockdown because before
It's just
I'd just
there, isn't it?
earlier. Like if I knew a binge were coming, I'd just go, right, I'm off to work now. And I'd
Yeah.
get there maybe 2 minutes early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think a lot of people have put on weight during lockdown, especially one, obviously the gyms are shut, so naturally people are less active because we're basically cooped up in the house all day, unless you're lucky enough to actually be working away from the house. Like I've been working from home for the past year, basically in this seat. I've spent 8 hours sat here today already. Um,
Yeah.
and I think sort of that plays into it, and then obviously just the ease of access of getting food. Like I'm literally about 10 foot away from the kitchen. If I wanted to, I could quite easily just go and raid the fridge or whatever. And I've never experienced the sort of binging that you're talking about. Like I said, I wouldn't say I've ever binged, but like if food's there and I felt like it, I'll just eat it. But it's not like a like if I don't want it, I won't eat it. Like I can quite easily say no to something if it's there. Um, but I reckon I've probably eaten about the same amount of food as I was pre-lockdown, maybe a bit less, actually. And just I think through lack of not lack of exercise, but I am less active just through steps alone, basically. Because I had a look at my step count from 2019 to 2020, and I was around 2,000 steps a day on average less than the year before. So if you work that out, it's like 730,000 steps less that I did last year than 2019.
Yeah.
So when you add it up, it is a lot of a lot of steps that I didn't do that I did the year before. And around we were talking before, so from lockdown when it first started, I'm about 8 to 10, maybe 12 pounds heavier. Like I used to sit around 216 to 220 pounds. I'm now about 228 ish. And I have been up to about 232 recently, which is when I was like, I need to start walking more. Like I've noticed slightly that I've put on weight, but it's not major. Like you said, even though you said you've put on weight, you're still in like good shape, better than most. Like there's probably still people out there that would like to be in the same shape that you're in, but it's just because it's such a drastic difference to what you've been used to. Like it's, I assume it's playing with your mental side of things. And I think hopefully now that sort of I got football back this week and the gyms are opening in, what is it, about a week and a half. I think things will start to tick over a little bit easier, especially if I just keep my food at the same level, because I'm going to be more active, hopefully.
Can't wait. Can't wait for the gyms to open. That first session back.
Oh, it's going to be like a kid in a sweet shop.
Oh, what do I trade today?
And to be fair, both of us have got reasonably decent setups compared to most. But even still, like there's so many things that we can't do. Like I think I might just go and do a whole cable session. Like I've missed cable so much.
It's just hack squats for me. Hack squats, leg extensions.
Get some grunting done.
No,
I remember seeing some of those videos as well, actually, when you were on the hack squat. I think I remember seeing them when you were putting them up before this lockdown, I imagine, or maybe in the summer or something. And you were doing some brutal sets back then.
Oh no, my training partner. I won't train with him anymore. But Jesus Christ, he worked me hard.
Is he the one that got you into like potentially competing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good, and he taught me a lot. But I think he pushed me too hard at times. Like I can remember one day I came home, and I can remember crying in the session. I just got emotional for like no reason whatsoever, and I just started crying. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. Like I've only done a set on pendulum squats. Like what's going on? And I went home, and I felt sick. Like I ate my post workout meal, and then I just had like a 2-hour nap, and I just felt groggy up like for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I thought that's just a sign of that's too much. Like you can't train like that all the time.
That's it, isn't it? It's how seriously you actually want to take this stuff. Like, did you actually want to compete, or did you feel sort of pressured into it from sort of your training partner saying about it?
I feel like
Did you feel like you couldn't say no, sort of thing?
I definitely had the choice. I feel like maybe I felt a little bit pressured into it. I believed I could do it, but then I also believed I wasn't quite ready
Right.
at the same time. Because I would compare myself to, I know I shouldn't do it, but there's a girl who I follow on Instagram, and she was competing at a similar time to me. She was eating twice as much calories that I was, because she were bulking, and I were in a cut up until my birthday. Then I was going to reverse diet, get my calories up, and then work my way back down again. And I would compare myself to her. She was already eating 3,000 calories, and I run 1,500, and I was like, oh, well, I think I should be eating that many.
Yeah.
And so I'll compare myself to her, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not ready. I can't compete yet. And then that was going through my mind. And then they were saying, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. And it was just like, oh, okay. And then I think it were all a bit too much. Like you were a bit too forceful with what I had to do, which I've now realized I don't have to do them things. It's just the most optimal way to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like you say, there's ways about doing things that and you can still reach the same results. They don't have to be completely optimal. It might just take a little bit longer time period. But I think like I've toyed with the idea of competing before, just more of a thing to see what I could potentially push my body to. But
Yeah.
then when I've weighed it up, it just doesn't interest me whatsoever. Like the thought of um dieting for like potentially 4 to 6 months just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. Like, think of the amount of things that you've potentially got to say no to. Like, there's birthdays, there's just random nights out, going out with the lads in the pub, whatever. Your family gets a takeaway in on the weekend. You've got to say no because you're eating chicken and rice for the fifth time that day. Like,
Yeah.
those sacrifices for basically maybe 2 minutes on stage just does not appeal to me. And then the
It's
mental side
nice
of
what I
things.
want to do. Like, I've just, since I made the decision not to compete this year, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm like, right, I'm going to get on stage next year. I'm definitely going to do it next year. But I think what's happened definitely happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Like I made the decision because of my binging, but if I were like with everything opening up now, I'd have still been in prep and I'd be like, oh well, I can't go there. And I've been locked up inside for a full year and now I can't go here. And it was
Yeah.
like, would I really adhered to it because I knew I'd been missing out on so much?
That's it. Like, I like hats off to the people who actually do it. Like, fair play if you can be that disciplined to something and say no. But for me, sort of without going too deep, like life's too short to say no to things and experience things. Like, obviously, if that's your passion and you want to go step on stage and go do it, by all means. But for me, like, I play football on a weekend and then we're in straight into the pub afterwards in the clubhouse, like having a few pints and getting food in or whatever. Like, I wouldn't trade that for chicken and rice to then step on stage for a show that is down to someone's opinion anyway. Like, there's no definite answer. It's not maths. It's not like 2 + 2 = 4. It's I think this one's better. No, I think he looks better. And to be honest, I don't think I'd look too good in a tan and budgie smugglers either. So without even going all through the dieting, I just don't think it's a good look for me.
For me, I think it's like I've trained for so long. It was kind of like, what am I actually doing it for? And it's like, why not just try it out?
Yeah.
Why not just give it a go? And it's just for me, I'm doing it for me and just so I can say I've done it and I know that I've achieved something. And it's like, so I can rule out if I don't want to do it again. If I want to do it again, then great.
Yeah, that was potentially my reasoning for doing it. Just, like I
Yeah,
said, just to see what I could get to. And in the end, I just thought, nah, because it's not healthy to be at those sort of body
yeah,
fat percentage anyway, and the amount that it can do to your hormones, and especially with women as well, it can go quite extreme. Um, so for me, it's just not worth it.
yeah.
But
That's
yeah, hats off to anyone that can do it. But going back to it, like obviously your binging started from basically being in a calorie deficit for so long. Do you
yeah.
not think getting to those later stages of potentially prepping for a competition that may make it even worse?
I feel like after I've been on stage, then I probably would have a huge binge.
Yeah,
And I think that's what would have happened if it wasn't for my birthday and having and Christmas and everything. It would have happened sooner or later. So I think this year for me is getting my relationship back with food,
yeah,
getting a relationship again. Um, I don't. It's hard to say. Like I am trying to improve my relationship with food. So, and a lot of people after the first competition struggle with binging anyway.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just
There's a lot of
finding a
mental
good.
health, isn't there?
you can't blame things on your coach either. A lot of people blame it on the coach, and it's like I've partly blamed my coach, which I shouldn't, because it's like I've done it.
Yeah.
It's not him who's rammed loads of food down my neck.
Yeah.
It's me who's done it, but it's finding a good coach that can help you through like post show.
Yeah, the effects it must have on your mental health must be ridiculous, because you've gone from being potentially in the best shape of your life to then you go on a binge and then you do put all this body weight back on, and then you look at yourself back like I don't get the whole bulking. I get the bulking and cutting thing for winter and summer. Don't get me wrong, I get it, but like it's just not quite necessary for most people as well.
Yeah.
And like to go through crazy bulks and cuts, like yeah, it can be optimal, but within a certain range. Like if you're dirty bulking, then you're just being an idiot and making it a longer cut to summer. But the mental health side of things of that is going from in the summer being dead lean, and then you look at yourself in the winter when the weather's crap anyway, that affects people's mental health in general, and then you add on a load of body fat with that. It's just not a good thing to do, I don't think, and it's just not necessary.
I feel like most people don't need to bulk and cut.
No,
I feel like the only people who should really be bulking and cutting are athletes and bodybuilders.
exactly.
Like, yeah, you might want to put some muscle on, but you can eat at maintenance or in a slight calorie surplus
Yeah,
and gain muscle. Like, you don't need to be putting on so much weight for you to look a tiny little bit better for
yeah,
really fancy in summer to
yeah.
get a shot
That
in summer.
that's it. Like the actual gains are marginal. They may be a couple of pounds year on year when you cut down. If you do it right as well, like you could do it completely wrong and mess it up. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think
people cut and they don't cut properly, so everything that they've gained in the bulk, that they've just lost it
yeah,
all
they
because
just lose
they're
it
not
anyway.
properly.
You're better off staying like a reasonable level of body fat year round, and then if you want to cut down a little bit for summer, then you've only got a few pounds to work with instead of potentially cutting 2 or 3 stone.
Yeah, yeah,
But
for sure.
going back to it, we're going to sort of move on to a slightly different topic of like the pressures of Instagram. And do you feel like, obviously you said like your weight's fluctuated recently, and obviously you've got a decent Instagram follower now, and your engagement is ridiculous as well, by the way. Like everyone else seems to have dropped off, and you've got still like a decent.
I think it seems to have dropped off loads.
It has, like mine just hasn't moved for years anyway, because Instagram just seems to hate me. It doesn't push my posts at anyone. But like saying that, like you've got a decent engagement, a decent following. Do you feel like you're pressured to sort of look a certain way now because of the posts that you've previously put when you were sort of leaner?
Yeah, for sure. When I first started gaining weight, I don't think anyone else will have noticed I was gaining weight. But it was harder to take pictures. Like normally I'd take a few pictures and I'd be like, oh, I look good. And then, but now it's like I'm having to take hundreds and it's just like, oh no, I can't post that. I can't post that. Like for me, just looking through the pictures that I'm taking, it's like, oh no, I'm not posting that. That's horrible. But especially when I first started binging, it was like, well, I need to maintain what I've got. Otherwise, people think this, that, and the other. And so, yeah, I feel a massive pressure, but I've kind of changed my mindset with it. I used to do it because I enjoyed doing it. I used to enjoy posting, and I thought it was so cool that people wanted to send me the stuff for me to take a picture in it and chuck it on my Instagram. I thought that was well cool. And like now people send me stuff and it's like it seems more of a chore because I
Yeah,
don't like the way I look. So it's like I need to get back into enjoying posting, not just because I have to. How
yeah,
it feels like a chore now, whereas before it was just like a little hobby, really, something I enjoyed doing. But now it's effort. So That I feel like that's where TikTok started because I don't care about TikTok. I just
You've been
post all.
smashing TikTok. Absolutely smashing TikTok.
Don't get TikTok though because some of them do really well, and then
It's weird, isn't it?
3 views, and I'm just like, that one were well good.
I see a lot of people like reposting them a couple of times because like one of them will like reach a load of people all of a sudden. So
Yeah.
maybe you need to start reposting some of them.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Mm,
There you go.
sorted. But yeah, like your TikToks have actually been making me laugh quite a bit recently.
I
I
met myself. Have a look.
find them hilarious. Yeah, I've not really. I tried to put some fitness content on there when like it first started, and it just didn't seem to reach anyone, so I didn't bother with it quite often. And I'm definitely not doing these stupid dancing either.
When TikTok first came about, I thought we were all just like, oh, I'm not 12. I'm not going on TikTok. You were like, I'm not doing some frigging stupid dances. I remember my sister saying in first lockdown, oh, shall we become TikTok famous? And I was like, give over. I'm not going on that. It's for 12-year-olds. And now look at me.
It is mad though, like how the algorithm works, and like people can blow up literally overnight. Like there was a lad, I watched the video the other day. He did like a social experiment on it, where he tested like using different methods, like using a song, using hashtags, this, that, and the other, and posting at different times throughout the day. And his goal was to get like 100,000 followers in like a week, and he did it. I was like, what? Why can't I do that? Like, why don't my posts reach people? But
One
yeah,
buzzing got 200 followers.
I don't know how many I've got. Let me have a look.
I got 1,000.
I got
I did get
147. Yeah,
1,000.
like my best video has got 22,500 views, but it's a video of my car. It's not even fitness. Like my fitness ones are getting like 300 tops.
I feel like TikTok isn't really the place for fitness.
It's not, is it? Like it's for people doing stupid dances that everyone does the same dance.
It's either some ridiculously funny and weird, or see, my TikTok's kind of turned into a bit of a motivational quote slash gym slash weirdos slash relationship advice and stuff like
Slash
that.
hikes and lakes and mountains.
Yeah, it's just so random. But I feel like I like it a lot more than
Yeah.
Instagram.
Well, you've got to find something you enjoy. Like recently, I've not really been putting that much fitness content up, like as in the workouts that I usually post, because yeah, it might help a few people, but like there's better videos that I can do. Like I'm trying to get into like informational videos now, like
Yeah.
the ones that I put up the other day about cheat meals and can you
Things.
still eat junk
I can't
food.
remember what you did. What did you do at the start of it? But it properly made me
Oh,
laugh.
the one where I pretended to be like a basic Instagram girl taking
Oh,
a photo of Charlie. Yeah.
yeah. That proper made me giggle.
Yeah, there was. I got a lot of messages off the back of that, and like I had mates messaging me saying George is finally cracked. I was like, I've got to do something to get people's attention, otherwise they'll just scroll past it. And they're like, "Yeah, it did make me laugh." To be fair, I was like, "I'll see it work then." But yeah, uh, it's just IGTVs don't really reach people, and obviously the videos that I'm putting out are over a minute long, so they have to be an IGTV, which is annoying. So I've tried a few reels, and a few reels have done all right. I had a bit of fun with them, because I used to try and find a song that matched the exercise that I was posting.
Yeah.
So like I did like a bicep curl one or something. I put that pump it up song on, and what were the ones I've done? There was like an overhead press one. And it was a song to do something with putting your hands up. It was that put your hands up for Detroit by Fed Legrand or something it is. But like I just had a laugh with it and just made like videos and put the songs that like match the videos. I haven't done it for a while. I might start that again. It's easy content. But like, yeah, I hate reposting stuff and all that. So, and I don't think, like, obviously my workouts can reach different people, but quite often I do very similar workouts every week. So I'm basically just re-editing the same post. And I've got quite quick at it now. It takes me like 20 minutes, half an hour to edit a post. But it's just when you want to just crack on with a workout. What's that?
I've not really done much of that, like posting my workouts. I video my sets in the gym anyway, just so I can watch it back. And if I lose count, I've got the video there. So I might post one of them where I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
But I've done it a few times. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've posted a workout video.
Yeah.
I think most of I see them on Instagram and I just think, well, that's bullshit.
Thanks.
Not with anything, but have you seen I see a lot of like people who compete and stuff that have got banging bodies and stuff, and I'm like, you don't train like that.
Like with like booty guns.
Doing some glute kickbacks and crab walks. It's just like, you don't train like that. You've not got to where you are by doing that. So why are you showing everyone how to do it?
That's why.
It's just trying to show everyone an easy way to do it, but
get off with a paycheck to work out with a band. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So. But I was going to move on as well. Like similar thing going on with Instagram is all like, what are your thoughts on these like photo and video editing apps? Like, because a lot of people get caught out with them. Like it used to be like the old school like bend in the wall, like
yeah.
But now they seem to have got that advanced that you can literally do anything. Like you can change your whole appearance without people even knowing. I see the adverts, like, on the story advert, like the sponsored things that come up sometimes when you're clicking through the stories. There was one that came up and someone literally edited a whole set of abs onto themselves and cut themselves in by about 3 inches off the waist and made pecs. And I was like, what?
I just think, no wonder everyone's got like body dysmorphia and everyone hates himself. Like, I think I can understand why people do it. Like, they've always done it. They've done it in magazines and everything for God knows how many years. They've always edited stuff.
Yeah.
I can see why people do it, but people need to stop. It's like all Instagram influencers started doing it, and then every Tom, Dick, and Harry is now doing it. It's just like,
well, it's that easy, isn't it, to just download an app?
Yeah. Like, we're all guilty of editing us posting some sort of way, even if it's just changing the lighting a little bit.
See, I have no issue with lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't got any issues in that. Like, I'll put the saturation up a little bit to make myself not look as beige.
I need to start doing that. proper white.
I always put the sharpness on it.
Yeah, well, that's not changing the actual shape of anything. That's just making the quality better.
Yeah. But that's all I do. I just change the lighting.
I literally just go into Lightroom, change like the actual lighting effects things. Like, cause obviously, like the photo I put up earlier, it was crap lighting. It was in this room and like the sun was shining in, so it messed the lighting up. So then I just went into Lightroom, increased like the exposure, turned up the brightness a bit, and then that's it.
I'll be scared of getting caught out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I don't get is like, there's these influencers with like 1 million followers. They go to expos and all that sort of stuff. Like they meet thousands of people at expos. Why would you take the risk in thinking, right, I'm going to make my waist a bit slimmer, I'm going to make my bum bigger, my boobs bigger, whatever. And like fellas making their arms bigger, making their waist tinier so they got a bigger V cut. Like you're going to meet like thousands of people at an expo. Like surely you don't want people going, hold on, he doesn't look like he does on Instagram.
I know. Like I've got on Tinder. I've put some pictures on it, and there's like some of me now when I've gained a bit of weight, and then there's some of me like where I'm quite slim, and I'm just thinking, am I a catfish here? Like, what do they expect? Like, if I ever met anyone, which I probably wouldn't anyway, but if I was to meet someone, what are they expecting? They expecting me to be a bit chunkier or pretty lean with abs? Which one are they expecting?
I mean,
like that with Instagram, I think, like when you see people who you follow on Instagram, it's just like, whoa, you don't look like that.
It's weird, isn't it? Like when people over edit the stuff, and like you can even do it on videos now. because like people, that was the whole thing, wasn't it? Like people used to like post a photo and then they get a load of hate saying like, oh, you've edited your photos, and then someone would post like a video after it saying, "There's the video," sort of thing to prove. But you can edit the video now, so you could have an edited photo, edit a whole video proving that it's not a fake photo, but it's still fake.
Yeah, it's mad.
I
Oh, yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I came across a girl actually outed one of these like video editing apps. Like she showed how easy it was to like change it. She did like a screen recording. Like she
Yeah, I
took
think
a yeah. I shared that on my story. I was like, wow, like that is so easy to do. It's scary. And I think
it's,
that puts so much pressure on people because if people are doing that, like you said, like they're going to be comparing themselves to these people, and they
yeah,
don't actually even exist.
I know.
Like I remember there was a Japanese influencer that got caught out with it years, like a couple of years back, and like she was like stupidly thin, like really skinny, like almost like her shape wasn't real anyway,
Yeah,
and she had like thousands and thousands of followers, and someone caught her doing a photo shoot one day, like on a car or something, and they put the video of like them actually taking the video of someone taking a photo of her next to the
yeah.
photo that was actually put up on Instagram. And this girl was actually obese. Like,
Was
yeah, yeah, she
she?
edited the photos that much. She was genuinely like actually obese. And all this Instagram was completely and utterly fake because it was that edited down. It was ridiculous. And I think at the same time, there was something that came out about like you can download some mad software that you can actually tell what you've done to photos. Like it scans it or something, and then like the coding behind the photo, it'll sort
Yeah.
of be able to tell you what someone's done to it.
See, I'm
Which
not the type of person that I'd ever realise unless it were really, really obvious to me.
uh,
Like, if someone was showing me a picture of someone and they're like, oh, look how edited that is. And I'm like, I can't tell. I know from people pointing it out, I can then notice, but there's so many people do it. And it's just so, I just can't believe people actually do it.
yeah,
I
like
actually can't.
completely and utterly changing the shape of your body. It's mad.
If you don't like the picture of yourself, why are you posting it?
Mm.
Like if I saw a picture of myself, I wouldn't think, oh, I don't like that, so I'm just gonna edit it. I'd get another picture that I do like.
Yeah, but the thing is, as well, that I find is that the majority of these people that are actually editing their photo are already in very good shape anyway. Like,
Yeah.
why? What's the need in taking it to the extreme for an extra couple of thousand likes? Like, it's like you're in stupidly good shape anyway. Why are you making it even better and just not attainable?
No, it's ridiculous.
But yeah, it's
Mm.
just it's a sad world. I think that's the only way I can explain it. I think it's quite sad that it actually happens and exists.
Yeah. I've made another Instagram account. It's like a personal one, but
Yeah,
I purposely don't follow anyone. I only follow close friends, people who I actually want to see. And then I've
oh,
started following
thanks.
like daily quotes and stuff like that. So on a morning, instead of going on my normal Instagram
Yeah,
and scrolling down and seeing loads of pictures of fit girls, it's like I'm scrolling and I'm seeing pictures of my friends doing whatever they're doing
yeah,
and seeing motivational quotes and stuff like that. And I feel like that's definitely helped me a lot
yeah,
since making Instagram. Like
yeah.
I hardly
I follow a couple of decent ones, so I'll send you them after we finish them up on here.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think it's quite easy to get trapped as well in social media, especially TikTok. Um, it's just so easy to just carry on scrolling and scrolling,
Mm,
and like you were saying just then, like you maybe compare yourself to um these are sort of fitness influencers. I don't think I've necessarily not necessarily compared myself, but like when you sort of look up to them and think, oh, I'd like to look like that. It's not
yeah,
necessarily like a direct comparison, but like I've definitely had that as maybe a kid growing up a bit. Um, And then it just got to the point where I was I never obsessed over being like, oh, I want to look like that guy sort of thing. It was never like that. But it was always like oh, that'd be a good physique to have sort of thing. And then I was
Yeah.
like, for what? Like, for what reason? Why?
See, I used to think I wanted to look like Tammy Hembrow and Jenna Frooms and all these really fit people.
Yeah,
And over the past couple of years, I've kind of realized that I'm never gonna look like they do.
yeah,
Like, even if I trained like them and I did everything I possibly could to look like them, my genetics are the same. I'm not naturally petite. Like, I've got massive joints, I've got cankles. Like, I'm not gonna look like anyone else apart from the best version of me. So
yeah,
why am I comparing myself? As no, I still do it,
yeah,
like saying like comparing myself to a girl who were competing at a similar time
yeah.
with me. So it's you compare yourself, but you need to be careful who you compare yourself to.
I think as well, like another thing that you've got to sort of consider is quite a lot of these fitness influencers have been doing it for probably a lot longer than you have anyway. Like you say, you're only 21 for starters. You've got years ahead of you. But these people that you're looking up to quite often are on performance enhancing drugs anyway. And
Yeah.
quite a lot of the photos are in perfect lighting, got photographers getting the best angles. Like there probably would have been like thousands of photos taken for that one photo on Instagram. It's probably been airbrushed and photoshopped. Like there's so many things that you could have taken into consideration.
Done as well. Like they say that I've not had like the bum done and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I do
Exactly.
have lip filler.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's blatantly obvious. Like there's the amount of male fitness influencers that say, "Oh, I've never touched steroids or anything like that," and it's like, mate, you're like 5% body fat year round. Like you're about 3 days away from stepping on stage. Like
Like, I don't think drugs are bad. I
no,
think
like
people need to be honest about it. I think there's such a big
yeah,
stigma around steroids and stuff because you can actually do them safely.
yeah.
You've obviously got to know your shit and you've got to,
Oh yeah, you've got to become basically a chemist.
yeah, like, not that I'm thinking of doing steroids or anything like that, but I've started to do a lot more research just because it interests me.
Yeah,
And I
it is an
think
interesting topic.
around it, like, my mum actually asked me the question if I were on it.
Oh yeah, my nan thinks a protein shake steroids.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no word of a lie. She's told all her friends that I'm on steroids when she saw me make a protein shake about 5 years ago. And the thing is, because all her friends, like grandsons and granddaughters, are like my age, I'm like thinking, have they been telling them that I'm on steroids? Because if I was, I'd be very disappointed if I only look like I do for those risks. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so my nanny, like my nan was around for dinner before, like she even said, like, you are on steroids. I was like, Nan, I'm not. Like, do you know what a protein shake is? And she was like, yeah, it's steroids.
No, it's
I was
not.
like, I was like, Nan, you've just had a beef burger. There's protein in that. Is that steroids? And she's like, no, because it's a beef burger. I was like, a protein shake is just like a byproduct of making cheese. Like
Yeah.
that's all protein powder is. Like it's powdered whey.
Take loads of supplements on a morning,
Oh,
and it just seems to get more and more and more. Like, as time goes by, I'm just like, oh well, I think I need to start taking vitamin C as well as my other 500 supplements. um, and I once put them on the table, and because I eat half of my meal, then I take them,
yeah,
and then I eat the other half of my meal, so it kind of like washes it down.
yeah,
Sometimes, like, if you, I don't know if you take omega-3, but sometimes you get like a proper fishy
yeah. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? Oh,
fish burn.
yeah. You can burp about 3 hours later and you still smell. Just like, where did that come from?
Yeah. So I take it halfway through my meal, and my mum was sat with me having breakfast, and she was like, "What are all them? What are them?" And
I've had
she'll
that
get,
from my mum. She sort of curiously goes, "What are you
yeah.
taking there?"
And then
I'm
I was telling her, I'm
like I've
like,
got
"Oh, omega 3, vitamin C,
got a pill
vitamin
box.
D." GDA. She's like, what's GDA? And I'm like, glucose disposal agent. And she's like, what is GDA? What is that? And then I grow a tash anyway, and I always wax it. I
Yeah.
always have since like are in high school. I won't say I got bullied for it, but people be like, hey, you got a tash? Things I've like waxed it. And I must have let it grow. I just thought, oh, bugger it, I'm not doing it. It's locked down. My mum noticed I was getting a tash. She's like, are you on steroids?
This is the thing, like,
I'm like, no, mum, I've always had a tash.
this is the thing, I think, like all this stuff's like sort of only, well, obviously it's been around for years, but like I think the knowledge of it is only just sort of coming through like in the last maybe 10 or 15 years. And I think a big help of that's been social media, because like you said, like my nan thinks a protein shake is steroids. And I've had the same thing with, like, I only take like I take a multivitamin, an omega 369, a glucosamine sulfate for like joint health, and one other, and I can't remember what it is. Does something anyway. But yeah, like yeah, but like I've been there, like I sit here and like my mum came in once. She was like, "What's that you're taking there?" And I was like, "Oh, this, and this." And she said, "And what do they do?" So I had to go through like a whole like lesson with her of what the stuff I was taking. Like, and she was like, "Why are you taking all them? You can get it from your diet." And I was like, "It's just a backup in case I don't get all those things from my diet. Like, it's a sort of safety net."
Yeah, when my mum like questions me and stuff, I go really scientific on her. Or she tries to tell me something that is clearly not true, that she just read from like Women's Health magazine or something like that. And then I always go proper scientific on her, and then she's like,
Okay.
like, yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying on a previous podcast, I think in general, like the basics of nutrition needs to be taught from like a at least a high school level,
Yeah.
because it's scary how much people don't actually know. And like it's that easy to get hold of like this information. It's all over the internet. Like it's not hard to find if you need to find something. But I think most people will trust like OK Magazine and Men's Health and all that, and it's like the basics of what they're kind of saying is usually reasonably right, but it can be very misleading. And it's just, yeah, I think it needs to be taught from like a decent level
I
from
think
high school.
you taught how to cook.
Yeah, definitely.
Started
How to cook on a
online
budget as well.
Yeah. I think once I've started online coaching, I've noticed how bad people's diets actually are.
Mm.
And it's not the fact that they don't want to eat healthy and they don't like healthy stuff. It's just because they don't really know how to cook and they don't know
Yeah.
what to cook, how to make an unhealthy meal a little bit healthier.
Yeah.
And they say they don't have time to cook and all this, that, and the other. And it's just like, I know you did like food tech at school and stuff, but
Oh,
that
that
one,
was crap. Yeah.
yeah, like you made.
There's a spaghetti bolognese.
I remember making some sort of cake and stuff, and they were trying
Mm.
to make it healthy, and I was just like, "Why are you trying to make a cake healthy?"
Yeah.
Like,
Just leave it as what it is and teach us how to make healthy food.
yeah,
Oh, we
yeah.
made a trifle and stuff like that, like pointless things that you're gonna cook like maybe once a blue moon. It's just like
Make
this.
cakes and stuff because that's a bit of fun in it.
Yeah, but it's not hard to make a cake. You can find that recipe on the internet.
And we had to get a pizza base. We bought a pizza
Shut up.
base, and then we just got like tomato puree, whacked that on,
A bit of cheese.
cooked a bit of chicken, put the chicken on. And they were
Wow.
just like, don't take a genius.
Nah, that's
I don't
shocking.
get, I don't get how people can't cook anyway. Like following a recipe is not hard.
No,
You
it's
just
not.
read.
Yeah.
You just read it and do what it says exactly how it says, and then you've made something.
I mean, it's never gonna come out like it does on the photo, but
Oh no, it might
it
not
might
look
take
like
it might taste the same.
it might taste all right, but at least just try. I can remember going to work. I always got like brought up food's free from home.
Right.
Like if you're going out and buying your lunch every day, even if you bought like a meal deal every day, how much is that a week? 3, 6, 9.
It's about 22 quid.
Yeah, like 21, 22 quid a week. Like I could save that.
Yeah. Well,
Like
think of
how
the amount of food you can actually get for that money. Like you could easily feed yourself for a week and still have like a couple of quid left over, and it'd
yeah,
be healthier.
yeah. So I always got taught to bring food from home,
Yeah.
and I can probably count on one hand how many times I've actually bought my lunch out.
Yeah.
Like I've been at work,
I'm a
and
sucker for a meal deal though.
I do like a meal deal.
Love a meal deal.
Where's your favourite meal deal from?
I'm gonna go with a co-op.
Co-op.
Yeah,
Really?
co-op meal deal.
You ever had a Boots meal deal?
I'm not that posh.
Oh, this is good. Like, I think you pay like an extra pound,
Yeah.
but I think it's like it might be on like O2, but on Mondays you get it for a pound.
I've got O2 as well. I'm going Boots every Monday.
You don't quote me, but on some sort of phone thing, you get a Boots meal deal for a pound every
I'm
Monday.
checking that after this podcast. Feed myself for a quid every Monday.
But anyway, like I was saying, I was like 16 and I was going to work. My parents were away for a weekend and I was cooking something to bring to work. And I can remember I put like cinnamon on chicken or something and I brought it to work and I was proper gipping like I was eating and like, this is so bad. I can't believe and
Cinnamon chicken.
you've got to make rubbish food to realise
Yeah.
like you've just got to experiment. Like now I'll just chuck whatever in and it tastes all right.
Well,
You've
that
got to experiment with cooking.
when I start doing my online coaching, I know a lot of people go down the whole meal plan route, and that's obviously good for some people being told, right, this is what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, dinner for the next week or whatever. Obviously, with like, imagine you've got to do that for like 30 clients, and you've got to like give someone a whole meal plan every time. Like, it's a lot of work for one. But then, say if they're with you for 6 weeks and they finish that 6 weeks and go, right, I'm not going to be carrying on, then they're going to be sat there going, what am I eating for this week? Like they've not actually learned anything of how to
Yeah.
cook like a healthy meal, or sort of be able to look at a shelf in the shop and go, right, I'll have this, this, and this. So my idea of when I do my online coaching is going to be sort of like almost like a recipe book, but with more nutritional information. So like it'll be, I don't know, for example, dead simple, like chicken and rice, and what you can put in it and what you can put with it to make it not as high calorie as, say, like you just whacked like half a tub of bloody sweet chili sauce on it, like adding hundreds of calories for no reason. And things that you can swap in and out for the rice and maybe swap for the chicken, this, that, and the other, and then give like a actual breakdown of the calories of everything that's in it.
Yeah.
That's my sort of idea, to actually teach people how to be able to go shopping and go, right, I'm going to have this as a meal and it's going to be roughly this many calories, instead of going, oh, I'll just carry on doing that meal plan that I had for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. See, I've given my clients a recipe book,
Yeah.
which made over lockdown. And I'll say I want you to try at least cook something from that recipe book once a week.
Yeah.
Don't matter what it is, even if it were just like a breakfast thing. And then it's more of I've got a few of them tracking the calories and stuff now. But before I would just saying, right, have a look on my fitness pal how much, saying they're having peanut butter on toast, something, just weigh how much peanut butter you're having
Yeah.
and then put it onto my fitness pal, and then you'll realize how much you're having. And I kept doing little bits like that and making them more aware of what small changes that they could do. Like I had one client who had 2 baby bells for a lunch every day, and in one baby bell there's like 100 calories in it.
Yeah.
So I said, even if you took one baby bell out a day, throughout them 7 days, that's 700 calories
Yeah.
saving. And then if you think like over a month, if she just had one baby bell instead of two, how much of a difference that'd make.
Yeah, that's
So
like it's nearly a pound of fat, isn't it? Just from taking a baby bell.
I know. So I'm trying to do it that way instead of I'm a bit not everybody needs to be calorie counting, but I think it's good to get the knowledge from it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
what,
think definitely like people need to know how much they're actually eating to begin with, because I think a lot of people kid themselves to think, oh, I'm only having this many calories, and then it's like, actually, you've not just had one serving of peanut butter, you've had 5, and that
yeah.
difference between 1 and 5 is a hell of a lot, especially with something like peanut butter, which
Yeah,
is
like 20 grams of peanut butter, that's like 110 calories.
yeah, it's a lot, and then people think, oh no, that's only one serving, and it's like,
Your serving size and the actual serving size, the
yeah,
different.
yeah, a little bit. So just put it on a scale and then see what you think you're taking out.
People think weighing it is a lot more effort than what it actually is. And I
You
think
only
it
have to
takes
do it once or twice.
like it doesn't. So you get your scale, put it on the thing, on
Take a spoon out.
put, put your bowl on, you pour it out like you would normal cereal or whatever.
Yeah,
And you've just got 50 grams there instead of pouring it and pouring it and pouring it and getting
yeah.
100 instead of 50. I'm pretty good at eyeballing stuff now because I've done it so
Well,
long.
that's it. Like you don't have to do it many times to realize.
Yeah.
So
And I think I stopped weighing everything with my binging,
yeah,
just to give myself a bit of a mental break from it all. And it was kind of like refreshing. Like this was when I was staying at my ex's,
yeah,
and I had I had oats with Biscoff spread, and it was like the first time I've ever done it and not weighed it. And I ate it, and I was like sat there like I don't actually feel like I need to eat anymore,
that's
and I've
good.
probably had like a lot less than what I would anyway.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Like if you get used to weighing something out and going, right, I'm having 100 grams or whatever, or 50 grams,
Yeah.
you're always going to be conditioned to for that number to say 50 or 100 grams on the scale. Whereas
Yeah.
if you roughly know what it is and you pour it out and it might be 40 grams instead, but you don't know
Put it
that because you've not.
in as well. That's a bit of a head fuck.
Yeah, that is like using smaller plates and smaller bowls. Like if it's full, then it looks like a full plate, doesn't it? Like what you're usually used to seeing on a bigger plate. It's a really good method actually, psychology wise, to actually use smaller things. And
I eat with a small knife and fork now.
yeah, I was going to say smaller cutlery can help as well because you have to bring obviously the fork to your mouth more often.
I actually hate big spoons now. I remember the last time I ate with a big spoon.
So what are you using, like a teaspoon?
It's a bit like, yeah, teaspoon.
Jesus Christ, that must take you forever.
With a teaspoon.
Bloody hell, like a baby.
Soup, then I'd have
Please tell me you use a soup spoon. It'd be cold by the time you got to the bottom.
It really annoys me, and it really shouldn't annoy me. But when people have yogurts and they
Yeah.
eat it with a spoon, I don't know why it annoys me so much. In
Yeah,
proper, like, how is that big spoon getting that little?
I do a yogurt in about 2 spoons. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like I've got reasonably big hands, so like a teaspoon is just like not ergonomically comfortable anyway. Like
I'm a proper like spoon snob me.
it sounds like it.
There's something about the spoons, like if it's like a proper deep spoon, I don't like it. I like a flat spoon.
I can only use certain spoons for my cereal. Like it
Yeah,
has to be like a round one.
see, I'd
I've
have to
actually,
show.
this is that bad. Like it's like 5 to 9. And I've still got my bowl of cereal here from the morning, so I can actually show you my spoon. I have to use one of them, like a round one.
I'll send you a picture of
Oh,
we've
right.
got really like we've got some fancy ones, that my
Right.
mum really likes, but me and my dad really don't like them. And then we've bought loads of like cheap ones, like really thin, cheap, crappy ones. And those are his favourites. I'll show you.
I can't wait. Anyway, going back to the topic. Do you have anything? Do you have anything else to say on like binge, or eating disorders or anything like that before we wrap up?
Speak to someone about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if it's someone who you hardly know, even if it's just phoning a random person on one of them, what are they called?
Helplines.
Yeah, helplines. Just speak to someone and it'll make you feel better.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's anyone listening, feel free to reach out into my DMs. I'm more than happy to always have a chat if anyone needs it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think we'll wrap this one up here. I think we got a little bit off track with the spoon talk. So if you've managed to stay through that, thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.